here today. One is a first-time presenter here, although they're a 30-year-old company here in Springfield. They are launching a new division that's really interesting, so we'll hear more about that. And then we also have a refill from LaDonna, 21 Reasons to Say Thank You. So we're excited to hear the progress she's made since the last time she presented. Before we get started, how many of you guys are here for the first time? A couple of you, welcome. Thanks for coming. How many of you guys are entrepreneurs? I love it. Now, I'm curious, how many of you guys are working on more than one entity right now? More than two? All right, everybody who's working on more than one, come up and see us afterwards. I want to give you guys a coffee mug because you're going to need a lot of caffeine, right? All right, so for those of you that are here for the first time, here's what 1 Million Cups is. We meet here every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. We have two entrepreneurs who come to tell their story. They talk for 6 to 8 minutes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to open it up to you guys for Q&A. And so we really encourage you and ask you for your participation during the Q&A sessions early and often. That's a lot of the value that these presenters get is during that time. And we'll have two organizers, 1 Million Cups organizers, walking around with mics. Raise your hand if you have a question or input. We'll bring you a mic. We'll let you know if you're next to speak or if there's someone in front of you and that sort of thing. So try not to talk without the mic. That's kind of the rule. Make sure you have a mic. But we'll go ahead and get started here. Again, we have a refill here, 21 Reasons to Say Thank You. LaDonna, let's put our hands together.
Good morning. It's great to be here and glad to see all of you this morning. I was here in June of 2015 when I presented the early stages of my project. Since then, we've been able to get the mayor of Springfield to proclaim September 15th as Say Thank You Day. So that will be every year, September 15th. And we're also still working on making Springfield the city of gratitude as well as others. But what I want to really talk about today is my product that I have. Exactly 1 year today, I was laid off from my employer. How many of you can relate to that? Yeah. A lot, I'm sure. You don't have to raise your hand. In my previous career, I established relationships with donors of high wealth for nonprofits, and I did that for a number of years, which involved a lot of writing and a lot of thank you note writing. I think I calculated I've written thousands of thank you notes in my career, so I felt like I was I had the credibility to write books on saying thank you. But I started the book back in April when I finally decided what I wanted to do after being laid off. So for me, gratitude has had a great impact on my life. And as I started reading about gratitude, and the more I learned about it, the more I thought, this is something that everyone needs to know because there have been a lot of studies done on it. Okay. Next slide. There we go. Okay, because expressing gratitude can change your life, and anyone can increase their gratitude, no matter what your age, your gender, your race, your stage in life, where you live. Anyone can improve the gratitude or be more grateful. It's a choice you make. But why would you even want to make that choice? You know, who wants to? Changes are a hassle for a lot of people. They don't want to change. They want to stay where they are. But I have a lot of good reasons for you to change your attitude. So why live gratefully? Because you'll have better health. You'll be less stressed. You'll have lower blood pressure. You'll sleep better. You will live longer. All of these things on this screen, including the Better Love Life, have been proven by studies that have been done. So these are all really good reasons for you personally to increase the gratitude in your life. You'll also, it's been proven that grateful people earn more, 7% more over your lifetime. Think how much money that is. They reach more of their goals and they're more generous. I know there's a lot of nonprofits that come here every week, and grateful people are 20% more generous with their time and their money. So here are some great reasons, and I have more. For if you have kids or if you know kids, they are 10 times less likely to start smoking, 20 times more likely to get A's, That translates into scholarship dollars, better colleges for your kids. So it's definitely worth it to raise grateful kids. Plus, you'll be getting in 13% fewer fights at home and at school if that happens to be a problem. So, yeah. And the impact on business. I have 2 books in my series, and there will be a 3rd one coming out soon, that are the corporate employee recognition corporate series. These are some of the reasons your business should be, and if they're not, recognizing, appreciating, and valuing your employees, because it does affect your bottom line. It does make a stronger company. You'll have fewer sick days, increased productivity, reduced insurance costs, greater collaboration. I just did an interview with Patrick Carpenter from The Great Game of Business, if any of you are familiar with that. Well, I interviewed him because I wanted him to share his experience with employee recognition programs and how they had impacted his business. And that will be on YouTube soon. And I'm going to continue interviewing CEOs and people in companies who do utilize and do it well, the employee recognition and appreciation quality in their business. So if you know of anyone, please let me know, or if you are one of those people, I'd love to interview you. So initially, when I started my project, I thought I'd keep the cost down, and if any of you were here in June, this is what you saw. You saw my notebook, you saw a little, I had the 3-ring pages in here, and I had the note cards and things in here. And what my idea is, and that I started out with, is to create a place to have all of your thank you things in one place. The book that tells you how to do it is included. And in the book, you have your how-tos, you have suggestions on who to say thank you to, and inspirational quotes. And you also have 21 suggestions in here that will help you get to the point where you can write a thank you note and make it meaningful. There's 3 different books. They're all different. And I decided I would put those books, in other words, it's a book, the journal, and the cards, 21 cards with envelopes and an ink pen, all in one box. And we're going to pass those boxes around now. We've got some around the room that you will circulate. But so this is what I actually ended up with. I was going to do this in the future, but I thought it'd be too costly. However, as it turned out, it looks a lot better, and it is actually costs less than this design. So that's one of the changes I made along the way. So this is my final product. As you see here on the screen, we have 2 corporate recognition books available. They are in the boxes, and have we already? Yeah, we started those around the room. That's great. And then we also have. Let's see if this is working now. Nope. Yeah. Okay. We also have one that I've used with churches. Schweitzer United Methodist let me do this at their church, and I sold out on my first printing on one Sunday in November when the pastor let me speak on the stage with him. So I have a lot of them out in circulation already. This is good, as it says, for individuals, or if you have a group at churches, it's great too. The cards that you find inside, I put one sample on top. The cards are all photos of the Ozarks, and on the back they tell where they were taken and who the photographer was, except for this one, which was taken by me, and I didn't put my name on the back. But the rest of them, in fact, one of them is a card by Jennifer Simpson DeCamp. So the one of the little girl, and yes. The little girl in the Japanese garden. So the next things we have coming up are books to your to your clients and customers, and then one for nonprofits to thank your volunteers and your donors. Back up. And we will be coming out this year with one for kids, and it will contain fun ways for kids to say thank you, arts and crafts type things, stickers, construction paper, different fun ideas. So instead of just shoving the card in front of the kid and saying, hey, write a thank you note to grandma, you're going to have fun doing it, and it's going to be something that they learn from and that they enjoy doing. And then eventually we'll have a whole series. Think of Chicken Soup for the Soul. It'll be similar to that. Okay. Well, next slide. Having some problems here. Next slide. Oh, well. No. There we go. So what we've accomplished along the way, we've got some reviews from some people. Curtis Wooten at Delta Jets has reviewed it. He does a lot of thank you notes. He endorses the product, as well as Pastor Cassidy at Schweitzer United Methodist. Also, if you go shop at Harder House, you'll be getting cards in your bags as you leave, because we have customized a card for them that says, "You are one of my 21 reasons to say thank you." And on the back it says that we appreciate your business, and we appreciate you. Okay, next one. So, to add value to our products, some of the things that we're doing is the customized mini thank you cards that you just saw from Harder House. We're starting a meetup group for those people who've purchased the product, where they can get together either online or through email or whatever. We're connecting those people. We have a blog. I'm always looking for speaking opportunities, the corporate recognition program, and the classes. In the works, the YouTube video that I talked about. We're also going to do some Jimmy Fallon-like videos, which will be a lot of fun, because we're going to use some of the people that present here in 1 Million Cups to have some fun with that. Virtual meetup group, always looking for speaking opportunities. And we're going to start some classes for CEUs, for professionals. So if you are a part of that group, I'd love to hear from you, as well as some retreats and workshops. So that's what we're doing to date. But we have a lot of things that we're looking for. In addition to these things on the screen, I talked to someone last night who suggested that I find a distributor for my product. What I really would like to do is find someone who could bubble wrap, or who could shrink wrap this, and so that I could put a sheet on the back that says what's in it, and put it in stores like Barnes & Noble, Hallmark, and places like that. So if you know of a distributor or anyone that can do that, I'd love to hear from you. I think that's pretty much, in addition to the things that were on the screen. One of the things we're going to do is market the coworker kit. Someone has suggested, and I agree, that this would be a great book for graduates, and the Grateful Heart for Mother's Day, which is the Grateful Heart contains scripture, and it's more on a Christian-based book. So, cool. Thank you very much. I'll take any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, LaDonna. Always good to have you here, and you've grown so tremendously even in just the last year. She's actually going to be speaking at other 1 Million Cups as well here in the next couple months, so we're excited for her. I'm curious myself, so far as the interviews that you're doing, who would you say would be your ideal interviewees? You mentioned CEOs. Are there certain genres of business?
Yes, people who embrace the idea and value of their employees, people who really care about their employees and show their care. I'll plug a couple of local businesses here. People-centric. If you use people-centric, you care about your employees. So this is a toolkit that can add to what you're doing already. It's an enhancement tool. Great Game of Business. If you are subscribed to the Great Game of Business, you care about your employees. So again, this is a toolkit that you add to what you're already doing. It's not the answer to every problem, but it will help you, and it will increase your value among your employees and make them feel more productive, more a part of the organization, and they'll stay with you longer, give you more, increase your bottom line.
Hey, LaDonna, thank you
Hi.
for being here. Good job. Good to see you.
You
Excellent.
too.
I'm glad
Thank
to see
you.
things are rolling along. Real quickly, you can always call one of my recent clients, the Springfield Workshop. They can help you with that packaging and do a great job for you.
Awesome. Love
Thank
to talk. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, do that.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
It's a fantastic subject. Have you ever heard of an organization called the Heart Math Institute?
No.
Yeah, they're an independent research group that's been using quantum level techniques to study the emotional flow between the heart and the brain and things of this nature. They hammer a lot on gratitude, as you do. They deal with cops and help them to calm down under shooting conditions. They deal with all kinds of situations like that. They're a rather large organization. Like I say, they're an independent research group.
Yeah.
And they get some fantastic research papers that are free available to read online.
I'd love to talk to you afterwards and get the website and such. You know, the other thing that gratitude can help with is depression. If you suffer from minor depression, or if you're under medication and taking counseling, being thankful and focusing on gratitude can lift your spirits and actually reduce the degree of depression in your life.
All right. So first suggestion, you're looking for a publisher for your materials.
I have a publisher.
Okay. For shrink wrapping it?
Yes.
Because one of the places that I volunteer at Cox North, and the Assemblies of God are one of the biggest.
I hadn't thought about them, but they probably do this there.
Yes, and if they don't, knowing the nature of their organization, they probably have a very good recommendation for you to help you out.
Good idea. Thank you. That's why I love coming here. You get such great ideas.
So, secondly, I worked at Boeing 33 years, McDonnell Douglas originally, but in the management positions, the all shits come out before you did good, and I was one that always recognized the people I worked with, because I worked on some very large projects, and it makes a difference. Boeing also had a presenteeism program. I had 21 years of presenteeism, and
Never
before
missed
they
a day
stopped
of
the
work?
program. Oh, and it worked good time, because they
Wow.
also included say not a large, but a monetary benefit that
Yeah.
went along with perfect attendance. And so you got the certificate and a little monetary incentive, and little things like this do really
Yeah.
make a difference in the employee environment.
Yeah, SAS CEO Jim Goodnight has a quote I love. It says, "Treat your employees like they make a difference, and they will." And that's exactly what it sounds like Boeing did. And that's what, if we all did that, you wouldn't have trouble with attrition or absenteeism or lack of productivity. Next question.
Yes, hi.
Oh, hi.
I love this product and this idea. It's fantastic. Two questions. One, you're wanting to shrink wrap it and make it available for retail. What is your capacity then to be able? You said you sold out of what you had in print.
Oh.
How many can you do at a time? And then my other question is related to your CEU and professional development courses. Who were you thinking of going through for offering those?
Well, I've been approached by the Professional Secretaries Association, and then I also belong to Association of Fundraising Professionals, and any others that would be interested, I'd be happy to go through the qualification process if there is one, as long as it's not too intensive. But yes, so if you know of anyone, love to hear about it. Yeah. Oh, my capacity? Well, at that point back in I just got my boxes in January. I didn't say that. So in November, I was only able to offer the book, and I have boxes of 10 cards. So that's what I did for the church. I sold out of the first printing of the book. First printing, I only did 50 because I wanted to make sure I had to bring that to press a little sooner than I wanted to, so I was afraid that there might be some changes. There weren't a lot of changes, but I did make a few. So I sold out of the first 50 printing. I can get my books in 2 weeks easily, and if I really need them sooner, I can pay more and do a rush. I've got 1,000 of these boxes, so I think I hope I've got enough for this year. If not, I know where to go to get more. As a matter of fact, I'll give a little plug here for Philip. Philip helped me get my boxes and my ink pens. Something that you might find interesting, I did try and do my boxes locally. I finally found a place in Kansas City that did boxes, but this is what I was given, and it was just not the quality I was looking for. It's more like a cardboard box, and I hope you've seen the box that's gone around. It's a lot better quality than this. In fact, I've carried my box around for 3 months now, and it still looks like new. You can spill coffee on it, you can get food on it, it wipes off. It's something that I hope will be an heirloom that you find in the closet with your grandmother's thank you notes in it, 50, 60 years from now. So.
LaDonna, can you tell us a little bit about the results that you've seen with this program?
Yes, I'm getting a lot of interest from employers. I've got some lined up. I've got some proposals out. I don't have any contracts signed yet, so I can't really say who it is, but I am getting some interest. Like I said, I have only been presenting this since January because I didn't have the full product in. So in a month's time, I've got at least 4 businesses that are seriously interested. I've got contracts ready to be signed with 2 of them. I'm going to be doing a training session for a retreat at one of the larger businesses in town. Again, haven't finalized that, but in the next few days it will be, so I can't really say who it is yet. But I do have a Facebook page, and I do have a website, and I do have a Twitter account, so you can look to those things and see what's going on. And I'll also be announcing my YouTube videos that are coming out. Chris has been great to help me with that, and so he's working on the one that I did with Patrick on Monday. It should be out any day now, and there will be others to come. Thanks.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. Oh, hey.
Hi.
You look familiar.
Yeah. Hi. Have you noticed a difference in when you've presented? Have you had people come back to you and say that they've noticed a difference in their employees, or has there been tangible results?
Not yet, but I'm glad you brought that up, because what I am starting out with, when I go into a company, we do a survey before we ever start the program, and I meet with the HR, and I go in and we look at absenteeism, we look at attrition, we take everyone's blood pressure. We will be looking at all the things that I say that gratitude will do to them. We'll be looking for benchmarks to establish a benchmark so that we can, 6 months down the road, go back in again, and that's part of my contract, is that they agree to give me access to this information and work with me on it. They work with me on the questions that they want to go out to their employees. They do not see the responses from the survey. It will ask things like, do you feel appreciated by your coworkers? Do you feel appreciated by your boss? Do you feel valued? You know, things along that line. It's just a very short, brief survey that we put together, the HR person and I together. And then we'll come back in 6 months and again in 12 months and look at the results and see if there have been any changes. So I'm not in any companies yet, so I can't say that I have any results yet, but I will the next time I'm up here.
Hey, LaDonna. So this theme has been coming up over the last year for me anyway, and it's where employees, when you're looking for a place of employment, how culture is so valued now, almost looked at as a form of compensation. And so, you know, I think that this is just awesome in helping companies achieve that culture that they're trying to go after. Have you talked about the Springfield Say Thank You Day, our official Say Thank You Day?
I did mention it
You
at
did?
the
Okay.
beginning.
And then, because I think that's huge, you go back to the slide of all the benefits here, and it seems like the video, I mean, when you were doing your dry run on Monday, going through all these benefits, you know, we had to ask a couple times, so this is proven, right? Like, this is not just you saying this, because those are really powerful results from showing gratitude. And I was curious, too, have you covered price points on an individual level, and then how you could structure corporate?
Yes, I do have okay, if you go online, the product is priced at $49.95, and you will have to pay postage for shipping. Now, I do deliver locally, so if you want, I will have a special code up there by noon today that will give you a special price just for today for one MC attendees. But back to your question about corporate pricing. I do have a lower price. Depending on the number of people, the number of kits they buy, the price goes down for corporate. So it would never be more than $50 a box. And I have continuing on the corporate training, we start out with a 2-hour orientation. And then depending on what the CEO and the execs want me to do, I can come back every other week, every month, and touch base with the employees. We form gratitude partners, so they touch base with each other. It also breaks down silos by doing that within the organization if you do it right. And I can come back and touch base with their employees, see how things are going, so that they don't have to follow up. And it's somebody from the outside kind of holding everyone accountable. And plus, people will know that I'm coming, so they'll be writing their thank you notes before I come, so that when I say, how many thank you notes have you written? They can say, oh, I've been written one every week, you know, or whatever it happens to be. Thank you. But as far as price, I'm sorry, another question? Okay.
Yeah, LaDonna, I was just thinking about your packaging design, and you had mentioned wanting to shrink wrap the box, and you know, the experience of opening the box is pretty important to the person that's actually opening it up. You might consider just wrapping that in a ribbon with a stamp. It might cheapen the overall experience by shrink wrapping it. I don't know if that's
I
necessary.
I did wonder about that. I have, that is a concern, and I think it's a valid one. And someone else suggested that I make a sleeve to put over it. I guess my biggest concern is shoplifting. People just, taking it out and walking off with the contents, and then, stores having trouble with that. That's my concern for that. So if I could come up, yeah, you were going to say something?
That might actually be, your loss there might not be that great.
Okay.
For the number of people that are going to shop.
And the loss might,
They might be taking home something positive out of it.
yeah. Well, yeah, when you think about a grateful person stealing, yeah. Yeah, thank you for the free cards. Maybe they really needed that book, right? Good point, thank you.
LaDonna, as always, at the end of the presentation, we as a community want to know how we can help you. So what can we do for you as a community?
Well, I need some help with marketing, getting the word out. Like I said, I am on Facebook. Someone last night, I spoke at a Rotary, and they said, well, you should do a boost for $100 a day for 3 days on Facebook. I've done boost, not for that much, and I get likes, but I don't get sales, and that's what I need is sales. So if you have any ideas on how to market the product and make sales, that would be great. Also, I'm thinking about licensing the product. I'm not going to franchise. I've talked to enough people that I know that franchising is not the way to go, but I am thinking about licensing, so if you have any experience in that area, that would be great. As I've said earlier, distribution and speaking opportunities. That's where I'm making most of my sales now, is speaking in front of groups. So if you have any speaking opportunities with organizations, I don't charge if it's less than an hour. So over an hour, then there is a fee for speaking. And I will speak at conferences, retreats, things like that. But I'd love to get in front of more people and just get the word out. I don't know if we can take another question. Oh, I forgot to. The special pricing for today is $37.50. So I'll be set up outside here. If you want to buy a kit today, it'll be $37.50 plus tax, no shipping, and that's a 25% discount off the online price. So thanks.
LaDonna, thanks so much. They may steal your product, but their love life will improve. So that's positive. Number one item stolen at Christian bookstores are the tracts that you sing to in church. Go figure. So let them steal it, and they'll do something great with it. A lot of great announcements coming up. Rayana in the front row, raise your hand up. Small Business Development and Technology Center. Very close. We're going to go with that. If you see on here, there are classes they offer on a continued basis. You definitely want to take advantage of it. I've taken classes from them. Well worth the investment. And so connect with Rayana. Also connect with the website. Real Estate Investors Group and Business as Ministry. That's at Schweitzer United Methodist Church. We want to thank all of our sponsors, Database Systems, the registration, the Mac expert here, eFactory. Thank you so much for hosting us, all that you do. As always, Jonathan with Brick and Mortar Coffee. How many of you love the great coffee? And in the back, Christopher Lynn Video. Thank you so much for all that you do. Jeremy Adams with Originate coming up here. I asked him to come up and just share. He's doing some great things that maybe you don't even know about. You know eFactory because you see the sign. But they're doing some tremendous things on Office Share and really some events. Will you share some of those?
Sure, yeah. Thanks. So my name's Jeremy. I'm with Originate here in the building. We run the co-working space. It's basically a place where you can become a member, and that gets you a desk and office space. You get all the things that you need to run your business. Just bring in a laptop and you're ready to go. We keep the price low. The commitment is month to month, so you can kind of take your idea, give it a shot, and see if it works for you. If you're working from home, working from a coffee shop, this is a much better solution than that. We also have coffee from Brick and Mortar Coffee all day here, so it might actually save you some money. We do an event once a month called Idea Wake Up, where we will sometimes have a presenter come in, and sometimes we'll actually Skype them in from some other location. And next week, I just want to invite everyone out. Friday morning at 8:30, we're going to be Skyping in a gentleman named Haynock. He's from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And so we're going to try to Skype him in and talk about his startup, Carry 117, which is helping displaced women, single moms, women with HIV, AIDS, leprosy, to create a sustainable life for themselves. He also runs a guest home there for volunteer teams and people that are looking to adopt. So he's an amazing guy, and as long as his power stays on, we're gonna have him Skyped in. It's gonna be a great experience. So 8:30 next Friday. Thanks.
If you have not walked through their space, if you are 40 years old like me, you will feel cool by the time you walk through there. Everyone is cool and hipster and good coffee. Thank you so much for sharing. Our next presenters, we're very jazzed to have you guys. If you notice up on the board here, Sunbelt Solar is who's presenting, but it's really the parent company of Sunbelt Environmental. And I would guess your EPA's best friend and worst nightmare, maybe somewhere in there. Okay, I'm surprised you guys don't glow because of the stuff that you clean up. They're going to share what they do. Really exciting, some innovations. Not a brand new company, but a brand new part of their company, a branch of their company. Excited to share. And this is a scrapper story. We're the entrepreneurial community here in Springfield. And this is a true entrepreneurial story. Literally started as a scrapper and made his way and looks back and just says, wow, look where we've come from. So let's welcome Lee and Ken as they share.
I just want to say thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks 1 Million Cups for having us out. Sunbelt Environmental Services, here local company, been around for 30 years. Lee Schaefer, who is sitting here, who came with me, is a Drury College graduate, 1980 Business Administration, U.S. Army veteran. Sunbelt is a full-service environmental company, so basically we've been serving the Midwest for the last 30 years with environmental solutions of all sorts. And so we will actually go through and walk you through with some of the stuff that they've done over the last years.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for having me. LaDonna, I want to say thank you. I've used personal messages for 30 years, and it's helped me. I think I knew I was different when my mother named me Lafayette. Okay? I have not met a lot of people with that name, but I love it. When I got out of the service in 1975, I had gone through the first president that ever resigned. That told me something. I also came into an environment where there were no jobs, per se. But I went to what was then called the unemployment office, and I said, I've got to work. My dad said I can't draw unemployment because that's some form of welfare. I was brainwashed. They said, well, we've got a job. It's at Karchmer Iron and Metal. And by the way, it's 3 blocks that way. And I said, what's that? So, well, you'll be a metal sorter. I said, what's a metal sorter? Go down there and talk to Herschel. So I went down and talked to Herschel Karchmer. He said, well, it pays $2.75 an hour, and you get in the big box, and here's a magnet. You separate aluminum, red brass, yellow brass, and copper. At the end of the day, you'll have 4 big piles. Hopefully you don't mix them up. I did that a year and a half while I went to Drury College up the street. Okay. What did I do with that clicker?
The clicker's not working right now.
Oh, so we'll just go through it. So I started, and by the way, mine is a love of life. I have not worked in 35 years. I have done something that I love for 35 years. One of the things for the community, for Southwest part of the United States, is we've improved the environment for 30 years. And to that effect, how could I not love what I do? We really have 5 divisions. We have a waste brokerage division, and that's how the company started. Basically what a waste broker does is if you have hazardous waste, it's either ignitable, corrosive, toxic, or reactive. What a waste broker did was to separate those, put the manifest, the various, know where to send the waste to, and get it to its home. Cradle to grave is what the phrase is. So that's how we started. Then we added underground storage tank removal. We added various aspects of consulting where we work with the regulatory agencies. The company actually consists of about 35 people, 15 of them degreed, environmental scientists, geologists, people that work in the field but have a degree. This is not something necessarily they teach you in college. You can get the basics, but then you have to work with an environmental company to find out what's going on. Some of the pictures that you'll see here are some of the activities that we've done. This was actually a lighter fluid spill, a tanker rollover in Arkansas, wee mornings of like November 15 years ago. But when you have 6,000 gallons of lighter fluid going down the highway, it gets pretty interesting. We do tanker rollovers, 10,000 gallons of gasoline. We've actually done about 20 of these in the area. Luckily, you never hear about us, because if you did, that means we did something wrong. But what we have to do on a spill like that is we have to go in and do what's called a cold tap. We have to drill into each one of the tanks to suck the gas out because the valves don't work anymore. If you do that wrong or do it with the wrong equipment, you can imagine. We're also part of a consortium of spill responders. This is on the Patuxent River in Maryland about, 16 years ago, where they released 150,000 gallons of bunker sea oil. Well, there's not one company in the United States that can go in and just clean it up. So you have a consortium of companies like ours. We sent 10 people. They walked along the shore, picked up tar balls in the estuaries where clams actually are grown. And we cleaned that up for about 3 weeks. It actually took about 3 months to do the entire cleanup. Sometimes we got to MacGyver it. We had a company that was a feed company in Southwest Missouri, and by the way, I won't use any of my clients' names because they don't like that. But they spilt 10,000 pounds of hybridized seed corn in a river in Kansas. It had pesticide-coated, herbicide-coated seeds. The Department of Kansas decided we can't have this in the river. Well, we went about it and said, normally we'll clean this up with a long-reach backhoe. They said, oh no, that's not going to work. So we just happened to have 3 people in the company that are scuba certified. We went out, hired a dive master. He came in, this is January, dry suits, wet suits, and over 5 days, we recovered 9,500 pounds of seed corn. I don't think, the reason we did that is one of the guys in the company had watched the show Bering Sea Gold, where they did, so we did our own Bering Sea Gold. This is where we were in Patuxent, Maryland, cleaning up that site. We worked, sent 5 people down for Hurricane Katrina, and our job was to pick up PCB transformers that had blown over on the poles. By the way, there was 15,000 transformers. We got to pick up about 500 of them. Unfortunately, we do natural disasters. My son and I worked the Joplin tornado. We didn't have a huge contingency down there, but we were there the next morning. We went to Walmart on East Kearney, picked up 500 bottles of bottled water, put it in the back of our truck, took our spill trailer, and we said, we'll go see what we can do. We not sooner got outside of Joplin that morning, and the Highway Patrol met us and said, good, we're glad you're here. And I said, well, nobody called us, but how can we help? He said, well, there's 15 tractor trailers over on their side, and we think there's hazmat in some of them. We went in there, we worked all night outside of Joplin, basically segregated loads, let people know what they could and couldn't walk through, what they could or couldn't touch, or what they could or couldn't set up right. The next day we went into Joplin, handed out water, and I'll tell you that really touched me, is when you see people walking down the street in their night clothes without shoes, you know that it's bad, and you know you have to do something. We do underground storage tanks, above ground storage tanks. This is another MacGyver. These are things you don't see on TV, because I'm glad you don't see them, because we don't really want you to know about them. I'm going to wrap this up real quick. This is liquid sodium chlorate. Went down the highway, not placarded, was spilled. We went out to clean it up. The first time the backhoe touched it, it immediately ignited on fire because once sodium chlorate dries, it changes its composition. It becomes shock sensitive, pressure sensitive. Anyway, we figured out a way to clean it up so you wouldn't have to walk through it. We do drilling, geothermal. Our newest thing to carry on the company in the next 30 years is solar, and I'll turn that over to Kim.
All right, thanks, Lee. There's a lot of cool stuff this company's done in the past 30 years, and I mean, it could take an hour to go through all the cool things. Sunbelt Solar is the newest thing. So we opened up a solar division. If we care about the environment, we care about cleaning up the environment, we care about clean energy. And so that's where we actually, in the energy division, we figured that, you know, everybody uses energy, and so we're going to cover all aspects of how that we can cover that energy and renewable aspect. So we have portable production and energy storage, farm applications, residential, commercial, utility scale. Goal Zero, some of the products that are right up here, these are going to be portable basically, so anytime that you're out and about, you need to charge your phone, you need to charge your laptop, anything like that, these are portable devices that you can pick up and you would be able to use the battery storage, take it places easily. So moving on to the next, agricultural systems. Agricultural systems are going to be energy storage. You want to produce out there. It's going to cost a lot of money in order to run a line out just for something this small to power a battery, or you have the pain of having to charge it. So what this does is charges it. This is actually a solar water pump system out in an agricultural area. Solar lighting is another example of that same solution. So it's going to be able to allow utility companies to not have to run the power lines to places that they wouldn't normally be doing there, so it can cut the costs, and it has its own generation and storage built in. Residential systems, we do roof mount and ground mount residential systems. And so this is actually an example right here of Lee's system that we put up at his house not too long ago. And just Thomas Edison quote there, it's just saying, we're like tenant farmers chopping down the trees around our house for energy. Whenever we understand that you're going to run out of trees at some point, why not use something that's inexhaustible? Commercial systems, of course you do commercial systems as well. They're just a lot larger and generally three-phase. This is actually one out in Park City, Utah, whenever I worked out with Alpengo Solar out there. Utility systems, some of you guys might recognize this. You know, we do a lot of ground stuff, deal with geology and things of that nature, so it makes sense for us to do ground mount solar applications, and this is actually the one City Utilities has right outside of town here. It's a 6.5 megawatt system. And yeah, I appreciate you guys' time and everything for coming out, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for your time and attention.
Thanks, Ken. Okay, Jennifer and I are going to be walking up and down the aisles, and because it's so filled in here, it's hard to catch your eye. So if you have a question, keep your hand up so that we can get to you. Otherwise, we might miss you. All right, we're ready.
It's me. Okay. Hi. So what is the price point for this for a residential system, and what about a commercial system? Do you have?
I knew that was going to come up. So I mean, as you look down a street and see every house is different. One house might have a tree, one house might not. So it's really going to depend completely. I mean, are you going high efficiency? Are you going low efficiency, monocrystalline, polycrystalline, things like that? There are so many different options for it. Are you looking for something aesthetically pleasing? We have to design something around that. Ground mount, roof mount. We dig it into the ground, we slap it on your roof. We could say a baseline of probably, you could pretty much count on about $3 per watt of installed. So anytime you're wanting to get a quote like that, you would want to have your kilowatt hour usage for the entire year so that we would know how to expect your future energy usage to be.
Now, between your multiple divisions of consumer and business, what does that makeup kind of look like?
Oh, I'd say it's 30, 30, and 30% industrial, commercial, 30% state, local, federal government, 30% residential, consumer. Does that answer your question?
I'm just curious, you guys recommend the microinverters or going with the big inverters?
Really, I would recommend microinverters or optimizers, one of the two, and it's going to be rapid shut-off compliant for NEC guidelines. But yeah, on price point wise, most of the time optimizers are going to be the best bet.
Good morning. I especially appreciate your community service. Thank you. As a consumer, what is the end of life like for these products, these solar panels and the batteries and such? What is the consumer expecting at end of life?
It's a very good question. We get that a lot. So they're going to be warranty for 25 years generally. And as far as life of system, the actual material that they're made of, not to get too technical on it, but the photons come down to collect electrons, push it around, get to the backside, create energy off of it, push it right back. So there's no loss of actual material product in that process. And so basically it's going to last as long as you don't break it.
I have a question. When it comes to commercial application, are there different tax incentives for businesses versus residences? And is there a state tax or rebate as well as a federal?
Good question, Tyler. Yeah, there's a 30% federal tax credit that applies to all systems. I like to generally for residential tell people a appraiser is going to appraise the half of the install cost, and so 50% of the install cost. Break it down like a $30,000 system. You get 30% federal tax credit. That's going to take $9,000 off. We now have $21,000 with a 50% increase in your property value. That's going to take $15,000 out of it. So if you were to compare to your normal utility bill to what you're actually looking at the 100% loss usage of service, there'd be a $6,000 out of $30,000 comparable. The rest of it's investment or money back from the government.
So can you tell us more about the Goal Zero? I'm really excited about that idea for, applications in like an outdoor camping home or cabin or something like that. Can it be fully sustainable then that way?
Yeah, as far as like in the cabin sense and things like that, you're going to actually want an off-grid system, full batteries and stuff. This is made so that it's easily taken out. If you were to do something very simple and need to run minimal products inside of your cabin, then they do make this is a portable battery unit that's actually one of the smaller battery units there. That's a 150, and then they have all up to 1250. That'll push 220 volts out, so you're able to power a fridge and things like that with it. It would just, of course, you'd have to connect solar to it to keep it recharged.
Thanks for being here, guys. And Lee, thank you for your service to the country. Appreciate you. You're welcome. My question had more to do with your strategic planning as far as your business plans. What does your long-term and short-term business plan look like to expound on what you've already done, expand?
Well, I think, if you really summed it up, we've accomplished the 30 years because we've really let our clients drive us where we needed to go. We've added the various divisions on as the need came about through our clients. So we're really client-driven. And I see the next 30 years, when I was in college, I read a book and had a teacher that said there's limits to growth. That was the name of the book. And it said fossil fuels are not going to be here, folks. And fossil fuels, like alcohol, are not our friend. So remember that. And for your kids, help them see that, okay, you got $2 gas. That's good. But in the future, you're not going to have $2 gas. The utility companies are not going to keep rates down because they have no choice. Because as the manufacturer, the input of power costs more, you're going to pay more. So if you're more independent and you're producing money to push back to that grid, maybe we can help the utility companies comprehend this and give them power back.
Lee, over here. Your story is incredible, and the passion you have after 30 years of doing this, where I have to come and say, hey, time, because you're so passionate after 30 years. Exciting to see that for anybody that's an entrepreneur, having started literally in the junk bin sorting the metal. All these years later, and you were okay to share this, you said, Jack Stack, one of our heroes here in town, you run an open book in regard to your business. How big is Sunbelt Environmental? What do you gross a year?
Okay, last year we did 3.6 million, which was one of our best years ever, with 30 people. Folks, and I I learned this from Dad. It's not all about the money. You know, when it comes to the end, the bankers look at you, and if you have a profit at the end of the year, you're successful in their eyes. But there is a little bit more to life than the almighty dollar. Okay? Sunbelt spawned 3 companies. Hey, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Okay? So when somebody takes your idea out there and puts it back on you, then you need to hug them, because they're out there marketing for you. They're out there bringing the message to the people, and you're giving them a choice. So when somebody splits off from your company and forms another company, don't sue them, hug them, because they're going to help your business. They're going to provide, if you've got a message you want to get out there, they're out there giving the same message. Through sharing the financials with employees, they know what they're contributing. It's not all about the dollar. They have to see, what are cost of goods sold? What is your overhead? Where does the overhead come from? What do you pay for your insurance? I love my employees. I don't know how we do it. We still pay 85% of their pay. And we keep it through a good local hospital. I don't know how we do it, because I pay that bill every year. But some years we make 2% profit. Some years we don't make any profit. But we have employees, I can think of 5 that have been there 20 years. Wow. So we love our employees. We share it with them. It's a matter of, you know, if you go home at the end of the day, if you run a business and you don't feel good about what you've done, then that's bad. So if you run a business, keep it in your heart. Know that what you're doing is good for the economy, good for your employees, and good for the environment.
Lee, I live in the city of Fremont Hills that restricts solar. In fact, I put up solar panels. They made me tear them down. I've heard that there's legislation out there that will stop these homeowner associations from restricting solar from the aesthetic value. Have you heard of any more?
Yeah, it's a good point. And what we got to think is we got to think outside the box. Solar's ugly. You know, the panels are ugly. But we've got great minds. And I know this is coming. Why can't you develop a paint that you can paint on the side of a roof or a building that transforms that sun's energy into electricity, so you don't even see that you're generating electricity? And I think we've got the minds in Springfield that that's coming. And I think it will be. The other thing is, why not get builders together and have a green community? We've been putting in geothermal. Everybody knows what geothermal. We use the Earth's heating and cooling to reduce your consumption of electricity. We've been doing that for 15 years. However, when energy comes down, people forget about geothermal. They forget about solar. So I really believe in Obama's initiative to have better energy consumption. Come on, Billy Carter talked to us a long time ago about energy consumption, and we forgot all about it. We just went on, and gas was cheap, things were good. We forgot everything that man taught us. So let's back up and look at it again.
Oh, sorry. This is a really highly technical product, and I'm wondering where you're manufacturing it, and is it local or in the U.S.?
You're talking about the solar?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
solar.
we don't manufacture it. We actually,
Okay.
we order it out
Yeah,
of
outsource.
distributors. Yeah, that would take a huge lab to be able to do that. No, so this Goal Zero actually, if you're talking particularly about that, is an international company. They've been around all of the major disasters that happen as far as tsunamis have hit Philippines, Haiti, all that stuff. Goal Zero was there, giving those people portable energy units so that they could still power their lives. And so it's a great company, and we're proud to represent them.
Does any company, since we're talking about applications and a paint idea, does anybody make a solar shingle? Yeah.
Yeah, 3M. 3M actually makes it. The only thing about that is, and with the stuff, the solar cells are more efficient in colder weather. They produce more, actually. I mean, because you would think, you produce less in the winter because of lack of sunlight and shorter days. But in actuality, the colder that the cells are, the more efficient that they run. And so that's part of the reason why whenever you see them on a roof, they're they're stuck up a little bit to increase that airflow and keep those cells cool so that they produce as much as possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lee and Ken. Sure appreciate your time. So our last question is, what can we as a community do for you?
For us, I mean, just pass it along. I mean, we're literally the other guys. We came in, you know, I'm sure that you guys are familiar with Missouri Sun Solar and stuff. So we're coming in and just offering this service and trying to be the honest people in the community that we have been for the last 30 years and provide the service to anybody that we can help. So just pass it along.
The one thing I might add is remember, Earth Day is 365 days a year.
Thanks so much, guys. Man, what a great morning. Had some great presenters. It was great to have Lee and Ken. That was a great presentation. I took a lot from just your wisdom over the years, I think. That's very, very good. And we love seeing that. We love having great presenters. We love having everyone here. We have people from the Chamber of Commerce, from Missouri State, E-Factory, local investment, other small businesses, entrepreneurs, all walks of life, and that's what makes this possible. We are all about growing the entrepreneurial community, and step one of that is growth. So we want you guys to invite your friends. If you know somebody that would make an awesome presenter, send them to 1millioncups.com, put them in touch with one of the organizers, and let's get them up here so we can hear their story, and we can all be a benefit from it. The second thing is we want to make sure, if you're not already receiving our emails, on Tuesday there's a computer set up outside where you can sign up for that. It's the best way to keep in touch with what's going on. And then, you know, finally drink more coffee, talk to more people, bring your friends. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, coffee for sure. So thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday. Hang out.